What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So I got up this morning with, like, I don't know how many pings to my name on Discord and YouTube, and they're all going, "Hey, Evildea, you gotta check it out. Mr. Simp's dropped the video on Esperanto." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on here." Man's like trying to cover his trail, because obviously I dropped my video yesterday on him, and then while Evildea is asleep, because you don't want to face him as a waking man, you secretly just try slide a video out there about Esperanto. Okay, let's see what he's got to say. Ugh.
Saluton, kai bonvenon al mia kanalo. Mia nomo estas lingvo simpo, kai mi estas el usono. Hodiaŭ ni enprofundiĝos en Esperanto. Otherwise for...
Okay, first up, I've sped up the video a little bit because, let's be honest, guys, like, I operate at a much higher level than what he normally talks at, and I do not want to reduce my, I just don't want to reduce myself to his level. Anyway, so it's good to see that he's actually speaking Esperanto now, which is to be expected. As you guys have probably noticed, more and more polyglots and etc., you know, the big boys out there, they're all adopting to Esperanto. They're all moving towards Esperanto because realistically, they have no choice. This is the future. It's the only way to move forward. And I always looked at Mr. Simp over here like the last standout of American imperialism up on that hill as his empire is dying around him and the Green Army is approaching from all directions. So it seems finally he has come out of the cupboard. He may be a late bloomer, but he has come out, and we must congratulate him for that. For he has made progress. Congratulations, Mr. Simp. Congratulations. Let's see if mentally you've adapted to the cause.
Formerly known as Ronto, Cringian, Europeanese, fake discount Mexican, or communist cult language.
Oh, I see you trying to play two sides of the field, my man. Well, maybe that will work for you, maybe it won't. We know you're on our side. We know you're an Esperantist. Deep down. You may publicly say you're not, but I know I have you.
This is the 14th episode of Language Review.
Oh, look at this. 14 episodes in, are we? And then he does the Esperanto review. It makes sense if you think about it. Because once you go up against the big boys, such as Esperanto, you need to sharpen your chops a little bit on the lesser languages out there, such as, you know, Polish, Korean, Arabic, who even speaks that, Italian. Like, you need to build up to the big boys.
A series where I go through the languages of the world and review them, sort of like a film critic or a video game reviewer, but for languages. I'll discuss the language in detail, and then at the end of the video, I'll give it an official Language Simp certified rating on the Simp scale. If you enjoy this video, let me know which language you would like me...
Oh, what are you doing, Mr. Lenny, coming out here causing Esperanto problems? Please do Esperanto. My wife's boyfriend isn't... Sorry about that one, Lenny. Say hi to the wife.
...to review next in the comments, and without further ado, Doek. I want to learn Esperanto so bad. I heard it'll help me get a job, and Esperantists are so hot.
Yeah, nice try, my man. You don't just get a job. First, you gotta get accepted in. And then from there, if we deem you to be worthy of our community, you may get a job. This is not like those lesser languages such as, you know, English or British or whatever you speak over there, Americanese. You actually need to be accepted into the upper echelons of the Esperanto community.
Esperanto is spoken mainly on Esperanto Island, which is a massive piece of
shit, he's found our headquarters, guys.
Land located just off the coast of Antarctica. There they have beautiful beaches and mountains, exquisite food, green penguins, and a ton of culture to experience. Wait, where are the NPCs? I don't see any people. There are no people. This might shock you, but Esperanto is not real. Esperanto Island is just a tiny rock.
Yes, guys, we're not real. Keep living in your ignorance. Stay in the dark. It works all the better for us before one day you will wake up, prepare your coffee, turn on the TV, and then you'll hear Saluton al ĉiuj, bonvenon al mia YouTube kanalo, kaj hodiaŭ mi havas la novaĵon por vi.
In the Antarctic Circle. Believe it or not, there's actually no Esperanto-speaking country, and that's because Esperanto is a constructed language, or conlang for short, meaning it didn't naturally develop over the course...
That's because there's no country out there worthy of our language just yet. But when we make our choice, you will know.
Of human history in a specific place like real languages such as Inuktitut. Instead, it was invented by an ambitious Polish eye doctor in the late 19th century. Ugh, don't you hate when you're at the eye doctor and your optometrist starts freaking making conlangs instead of fixing your crooked eyes? Anyway.
That was legit, that was good.
This guy, L.L. Zamenhof, invented Esperanto in 1887 with the goal of creating the international language to facilitate communication with people of all nationalities and create world peace. And
yeah, that's what we publicly state. Yeah.
It worked! In June 2025, everyone speaks Esperanto. The language successfully bridged all the gaps between cultures. We no longer...
What was that? Something about Trump being gay? Well, that's good to know.
Have wars, and there's peace on Earth both domestically and abroad. Crap, it didn't work, did it? There actually was one utopian country named the Republic of Rose Island, which used Esperanto.
Yeah, when I take over the world, I will end the Italians for this. The entire Italian race.
As its official language. But it was just a platform floating off the coast of Italy with a handful of NPCs living.
Unless, of course, you convert to Esperantismo. In which case, you will continue on, you'll just exist at a lower level of Esperantismo. Basically, servants.
There. And tragically, it only lasted less than 2 months before the Italian Navy violated its sovereignty by invading it. And then they bombed it twice, even though the president's dog was still there. What the heck, Italy? So the truth is that in 2025, not a whole lot of NPCs speak Esperanto, and people estimate that there are anywhere between 30,000 and 2 million speakers of the language worldwide.
Yes, our numbers are very low. Very, very low.
Second, how the heck is the estimated range that big? Probably because most Esperanto speakers are Reddit mods, Discord mods, or Duolingo forum grinders who hide in their basements. However, Esperantists surprisingly leave their dungeons rather frequently. Ever since 1905, they have their yearly World Esperanto Congress, which is like an anime convention for people who are weebs for Europe instead of Japan. And there's a rumor that a lot of, premarital goes on at these things in groups. But to be fair, Esperantists are the...
Well, you know, there's two ways to grow a community of, peoples. One is through conversion and the other is through multiplication. I'm very good at multiplying.
The most attractive nationality, so can you really blame them? Truthfully, Esperantism is kinda a cult. Its adherents are very obsessed.
Oh, shit. Guys, we're not a cult, okay?
Communal, communist, and they smile a little too much for my liking.
Oh, fuck.
And they have vast communist networks of
Yeah, okay, well, at this point, I don't think it matters anymore because the cat's out of the bag. This is not whatever he's going to tell you it is. In fact, let's hear what he's got to say it is.
Surfing, where if you're an Esperantist, you can go squat at another Esperantist's house and destroy their toilet for free anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's not what it is. That is just our underground spy network connected through the entire world so that we can actually tap into the government systems, you know, the echelons of power, basically, and just allow a communication network in the occurrence that certain wars would happen, we will still be able to control the elite.
Anywhere in the world at any time. There are also approximately 1,000 victims, native Esperanto speakers whose parents indoctrinated them and spoke to them exclusively in the language from the moment of conception.
Well, there was 1,000 probably like 40 years ago, but I'm assuming it's a bit more now.
Imagine one day realizing that the language you think in isn't even real. The most notable native Esperantist is George Soros, one of the biggest donors to the Hillary Clinton campaign in
Yes, boys, do you see? One of the biggest donators to the Hillary Clinton campaign. And who was she? She was some important person in American politics who almost became, Prime Minister? Yeah, almost became the American Prime Minister. Imagine we were that close to taking power. Oh, not far before we get those nuclear codes, my boys.
2016. Make of that what you will. But as much as I make fun of it, Esperanto is spoken by a strong community of passionate language learners, many of whom I've met personally and really like. They are good people with good intentions who have done awesome things for the language learning community as a whole, and I can't help but respect them for it, regardless of how...
Yeah, there's only one reason he said all that. It's because he knows he's surrounded by Esperanto speakers. The entire YouTube community is infected with us now. I am just one of the very few ones who is open about it, willing to share the internal secrets. He does not want to face a possible midnight assassination.
Misguided, I find the whole Esperanto movement. But with barely any NPCs speaking it spread out thinly all around the world, learning Esperanto will unlock you literally no DLC. It is a certified waste of time. Now let's talk about the various dialects of the Esperanto language. That was all of them. There are none because there are 0 countries where this language is spoken. I don't know about you, but when I learn a language, I really look forward to visiting a country so I can shock locals. So if you're...
Wait. Weren't you the guy who learnt French? Isn't that like the... It's like the outdated international language, the one that came before the current one, which is now falling out of fashion. Yeah, like I think the last time I ever really heard or used or thought about French was when I went to France. And the only thing that shocked me when I was there was the smell of shit on the streets in Paris.
If you're an alpha who's learning a real language, you should check out Saley, who I'd like to thank for sponsoring this video. Saley is a new eSIM service.
Fucking sponsor.
App that offers you several affordable eSIM plans in over 200 DLC regions, allowing you to easily get connected.
You know what? I'm just going to let this one run through because clearly my man, he needs the money, you know. The opportunities for non-Esperanto speakers it's shrinking by the day, so I don't want to put him out of work.
abroad or even in your home country. I used to go through my carrier for data when I traveled, but it took too long, was way too expensive, and it was just cringe. But now I use Saley because it's super quick to set up and it's
this is so cringe, come on.
so much more convenient than having a physical SIM card. And right now you can get an exclusive 15% discount on Saley eSIM data plans. Download the Saley app or scan the QR code on screen and use code LanguageSimp at checkout today. Let's be honest, who really wants to be that beta looking for a SIM card in shady stores when you're tired after traveling for hours? With Saley, I have service right when I land. Now instead of desperately running around looking for public Wi-Fi like a soy boy beta male, you can install the Saley eSIM and you won't even need a new one for each country. Saley is compatible for both iOS and Android devices, and if your device happens to not be compatible, they'll give you a full refund. Download the Saley app and use code LanguageSimp at checkout or scan the QR code on screen to get started today. Now it's time to talk about the writing system. Esperanto is written.
Oh, thank fuck. Could you make that any longer? What are they paying you? Actually, yeah, let me know how much they're paying you. I'm a bit curious.
In a modified version of the American alphabet, which is my...
A modified version of the American alphabet, yes, because you guys use a lesser version of our alphabet. Because you're unable to handle the diacritics and shit. Is that the correct word? I don't know.
Mind-blowing. I thought this was supposed to be the international language. Doesn't that mean it's going to be a whole lot easier to write for native speakers of languages that also use the American alphabet?
I don't know what my man's on about. I've never used the American alphabet.
Like, if you put LeBron James from Ohio and Cobb Sook from Thailand in a room and ask them both to read Esperanto, who's gonna have an easier time? Yeah, that's gonna be a recurring theme in this video.
Man, my armpits stink. I need a shower.
Oh, Esperanto just feels so Eurocentric. I smell racism.
Holy shit. What's the freaking odds of that? Eurocentral. No, it's not Eurocentralism. It's just world domination, okay? We're gonna dominate the world. Some cultures are just gonna have to fall to, they're just gonna have to pass on type of thing. Jesus, Elmo, you're getting hit with the friggin' light rays right now.
And I know what people will comment. Language Simp, it uses this alphabet because French was the global language at the time, and it was good because typewriters back then could handle the script. Oui, oui, baguette, vive la France. Come on, man, you try to make an international language to foster world peace and international communication, and you immediately concede a huge part of it to colonial France? Oh.
Yes. Yes. Because to take over the echelons of power, you must first infect whoever is the most dominant at the time.
Okay, the alphabet has 28 letters, which feels like a lot for a language that is supposed to be simple to learn. First, Zamenhof removed the Q, W, X, and Y from the American alphabet, which was a good start. Those letters are ugly as fuck. But then he had a mental breakdown and added 6 new letters that look identical to...
I don't know, man. They all look hard as fuck. Like, they go hard. Look at him, man. He's got little caps and shit. Except for you over there. He's like the outcast child. What are you doing? What are you doing? Flip your ass the other way, you fucking idiot.
Ones that already exist in the alphabet. And he added little triangle hats on top of 5 of them and one little bowl on the other to tell them apart from their doppelgangers. I hate this so much. Having accent markers in an easy and accessible international language is stupid and needlessly complicated. As someone with visual impairment issues, this feels like a direct attack on
just harden the fuck up.
my human rights. Esperanto is ableist. The C with no hat is a ts, while the C with a hat is ch. Why not use the ts or ch letters from Russian instead?
The fuck type of letter is that? What is that? That looks like a Lego block. No, that's an upside down horse. Is that an upside down horse? Yeah, fuck it is too. It's an upside down horse.
Instead of double dipping the C and needing a Dorito to differentiate them. Then the G with no hat is a G, while G with the hat is J. But why not just use the frickin' nipple?
The nipple? Okay. What? Never seen this thing in my life, but yeah, I'm down for it.
Thing from Serbian or something to keep it simple and one-to-one. The bowl diacritic also pisses me off. The U makes the oo sound, while the U bowl makes the ow sound.
See, this is just a simple fact of the matter that when Esperanto finally takes over and you're forced to use our Latin alphabet, it's just kind of like a way of showing that you have finally submitted to us by adopting our alphabet. Because at that stage, there's no going back. You're our bitch.
Why not just... It's actually hilarious because a lot of modern operating systems can't even handle these diacritics, which makes everything even more inaccessible. Some people long ago actually tried to reform the writing system to make it easier by removing the diacritics, which spawned a new conlang in 1907 based on
Yeah, those fucking traitors. Yeah, there's not many of them left anymore.
Esperanto, known as Edo. Yes, there are, funnily enough, conlangs that are based on the conlang Esperanto. And they're called Esperantitos, which sound like a really tasty gas station.
Yeah, I want some Esperantitos right now. That's...
snack that was imported from Mexico. Some notable Esperantitos are Sasere, Mundo Linko, German, and I kid you not, Esperanto 2. I promise you that I will be waiting outside camping in a tent for the midnight release of Esperanto 3. But the most interesting Esperanto derivative by a long shot is Polyespo, which added Cherokee words and 3 tones for...
Seal of the Cherokee Nation. Established in 1839. Well... maybe that will be our new headquarters.
some reason. But that one didn't last long because the guy who made it got put on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. But despite
Well, maybe it won't be our new headquarters.
Despite all that, for what it's worth, Esperanto is phonetic and the stress on words is regular. It also has no tones nor crazy hard sounds to make like ein, ha, ui, or There are technically only 5 vowel sounds, which is nice, but they're the exact vowels found in Greek and Spanish, which means that people from Greece and Honduras are gonna have quite the unfair advantage. And Esperanto has a bunch of diphthongs, which again, might be a little too complicated for a lot of people depending on their native language. But the real racism, I mean...
You know, it's just a test, realistically. If you're not willing to put in a tiny little bit of effort to try to pronounce an itty-bitty sound that's just not found in your language, then you're a bitch and we don't want you anyway.
Eurocentrism is in the consonants. They have consonant clusters, the zh sound, and even a friggin' rolled R for crying out loud. These are all infamously difficult for East Asian language speakers to pronounce. I'm not attributing motive to anyone or anything, but if I were to make an international conlang,
I'm trying to imagine what type of conlang he would create. Because, like, he's learnt French, Russian, English, German, and if you mix them all together, you end up with Esperanto.
certainly wouldn't make it particularly hard for East Asians. No. I'd make it hard for Dutch people because they're too good at English and they height-mog me. Even if you can't beat them in height, you could learn more languages than Dutch people once you've read my ebook, The Hyperpolyglot Handbook, which you can buy right now at languagesimp.com. This ebook will teach you exactly how to learn a language from start to finish in the fun and efficient way that I personally...
He is... Holy shit, he even mentions Esperanto in his book. This is Beta Bob. He is a monolingual beta, even though he's been trying to study languages for 30 years. He's currently learning Esperanto. Neither women nor men will go anywhere near him, as his stench reeks of monolingualism. Well, one of these days, my man, they're going to be suckling off of my nipples while looking down upon you.
Use. Tons of you have already bought it. Thank you very much. I've heard nothing but positive reviews thus far, knock on wood. Head over to languagesimp.com or click the link in the description to check it out and make an investment in your polyglot future today. Now back to the video. But how does Esperanto sound in general? Well, to be honest, it doesn't sound very good. It's fake and artificial, like processed foods or spray tans. In my opinion, it sounds sort of like Latin or just any old Romance language, except it has some Slavic sounds. So it reminds me a bit of Romanian, but it lacks the natural beauty of Romanian. It's a little too robotic, and when Americans speak it, it sounds like Simlish. Me shat ass Peggy per me credit carto. That's the weird thing. Since
The fuck was that?
it's not a real language with real native NPCs, everyone sort of adds their own accent to it, and it seems like as long as you're understandable, no one really gives a flying fadoodle. It desperately wants to have a standardized sound, but it just can't. It's like Pinocchio. I want to be a real boy. I want to be a real language. The only technically real, pure native Esperanto was spoken by Zamenhof, who died over 100 years ago. It was his hat, Mr. Krabs. He was #1. However, women tend to love how Esperanto sounds. I mean, if you're a pickup artist trying to riz chicks...
Damn right, man. Like, I am in the constant state of trying to get them off of me. You should see it. Like, I am locked up in this room right now, literally because my wife is fearful of me going out onto the street. Because if I do, I just come back and they're just like freaking flies, man. They're just buzzing around me, suckling off of me. Oh, it's
chicks at places where they clearly don't want to be approached, you better do it in Esperanto, or you'll have a huge disadvantage compared to the Chads who've already submitted their lives to Zamenhof. And some people really love how Esperanto sounds. Like this guy, Onisaburo. He was the co-founder of the Moto religion. And when he first heard Esperanto, he declared it to be the language of heaven. And then
see, even the Japanese, they're always ahead of the game. Like, just watch their new versions of anime or whatever. They've got like mechs and fucking robots and shooting and shit, and then Esperanto. There's a reason they got Esperanto in there, because they know that shit's the future.
this religion actually sees Zamenhof as a sort of deity. And Zamenhof was impressive in some ways. The manner in which he designed Esperanto vocab was rather intelligent. Nouns always end in O, and to pluralize them, you add a J. Adjectives always end in A, and if they describe multiple things, you also add a J. Adverbs end in E, and verb infinitives end in I. It's a very logical language that is easy to get the hang of. There are also a ton of logical prefixes and suffixes which can further transform words into different yet similar concepts. Take the word belle, for example. Bella means beautiful, bello means beauty, and belle means beautifully. Then with prefixes and suffixes, you can add a lot more to it.
Bella. That just kind of threw me off then.
Bellulo is a beautiful person, and Malbellulo is an ugly person. But Sancta Bovino does this language get super agglutinative really fast. Like, this is a real word in the language, but I am not going to bother dissecting it. When you first start studying Esperanto, you'll just want to learn a simple greeting. The most common one is saluton, which is like nails on a chalkboard to me. Here's an example of a real-life Esperanto conversation so that you can see what it's really like. Saluton, saluton, kiel vi fardas. Me, fardas bone. Arrivederci. The words themselves
That was so fuckingly bad. It was good.
kind of suck, because as you probably noticed, they're pretty much all European. Oh, that's the big problem with this language. A study in 1987 found that 84% of basic Esperanto vocabulary was from Romance languages, 14% from Germanic languages, and only 2% was from Slavic lingos or Greek. If Esperanto were just a
Yeah, basically it took from all the international languages of time because Why would we take from some lesser language like, I don't know, Japanese or something? Like, they didn't rule the world. They tried, but they failed, and we don't take from losers.
Made to help Romance language speakers or even just Europeans communicate easier across nationalities, I would think it's fine. But in 1887, Zamenhof wrote, and I quote, "I hope this language will serve as a universal second language which will free mankind from the slavery of linguistic prejudice and foster brotherhood among peoples." So
Jesus Christ, the birds outside my window are going the fuck off. Man. Anyway, yeah, again, that's just public marketing stuff, you know, with Esperanto. Oh, join our community, we're all about love and this type of stuff. And then once you get inside, it's like, okay, let's take out all the enemies of the state.
Allow me to rephrase that for your comprehension. I think we should liberate non-Europeans from the slavery of using their mother tongues and provide them with the glorious European mutt language. They'll learn our alphabet, our words, we'll make them all communists, and they're gonna like it.
Pretty close, except for the communist part. Let's get rid of that part. I'm not a real fan of communists. I'll deal with them in time too.
And there are still other problems with Esperanto vocab. The words are sexist, as all nouns are masculine by default. Like mother is patrino, which is absurd. And there's no official gender-neutral pronoun, which simply triggers me. It's 1887, Zamenhof. Come on, get with the times. Also, it's Pride Month, dude. Esperanto grammar is also surprisingly regressive. You know how some languages like Russian and Finnish are exceptionally hard because of their complex case systems? Esperanto has 30 grammatical cases. Just kidding.
I was about to say, wait, what?
But it sort of has two, and you know what I'm going to say about that. Eurocentric, unnecessarily difficult, cringe, xenophobic, homophobic, heteronormative, ableist, etc.
Holy shit. You just went full left wing right there, my man. Jesus Christ.
Basically, nouns and adjectives have a standard nominative case form, but then if they're the direct object of the sentence, you add an N to the end of them. So I love the cute dog is not me amas la charma hundo, it's instead me amas la charman hundon. That's quite easy, but it's unnecessary because the word order could just show the subject-object relationship. Like, come on.
Well, I can see what's going on right now. He's seeing this from the perspective of a lesser being, basically an American. And Americans, they see the world in one way, subject, verb, object, and then if you try to mess with the system, they get all confused and it's hard for them. And like, you know, trying to move things around. No, don't make changes. Change is hard. So I understand what's going on here.
Esperanto verbs, at least, are pretty straightforward. They're only conjugated for tense, so they don't change based on the subject, which is comforting. And the tenses are perfectly regular. Let's take the verb penny, which means to try. In the present tense, it's me painas. The past is me penis, future me penos, conditional me penus, and imperative penu. In case you missed that, the past is me penis. These conjugations and endings will be the same for all verbs. I mean, it's hard to criticize that. It was intelligently designed by my favorite Polish eye doctor. Actually, upon further reflection, this is also too Eurocentric, and tenses are even easier than this in Vietnamese. And I'd like to mention that my favorite verb is krokodili, which clearly comes from the American word alligator, and it's a communist dog whistle that means to speak a language other than Esperanto. So
well, he actually got the definition of that one right.
Yeah, rontists will run at you and scream ne crocodilo if you speak a language other than Esperanto.
Well, that will be your first warning. A second warning will just be a stab to the kidneys.
In public, like a normal human being. Now it's time to talk about shock factor. How will native Esperanto speakers react to you speaking their language as a foreigner? Well, there are only about 1,000 Esperanto natives in the universe, so if you happen to find one in the wild, coat my ears in jelly and tie me to the anthill. But if you do find an Esperanto native and you speak Esperanto to them, they're gonna be pissed. They'll have a traumatic flashback to their childhood when their parents forced them to speak some communist fake green European slop, which caused them to be an outcast among their peers, and now they're a hugless virgin, so they'll hit you and Naruto run away. Other non-native Esperantists
What's up, grinders?
will, of course, love that you speak it because now you're in the cult and they can sleep on your couch for free. But yeah, you will never...
It's not about sleeping on the couch. If I'm coming to your house, let's just say I won't be on the couch. You and me are going to be doing the Esperanto multiply.
Shock anyone with this language. In fact, I think it has negative shocking potential. If you tell me that you're learning Esperanto, I'm gonna cringe a little, and I know I'm not alone with that. Learn a real language. American is the global language for a good reason. Everyone...
Ah, he may cringe a little bit right now, but as I continue to grow, my power starts to take over the entire YouTube space, and everyone starts to bow down to me. It'll be like, oh, Evildea, you're so important, you're such a big YouTuber, can I please coddle your testicles and become an Esperantist like you? And I'll be like, make sure you suck the rod and pull hard.
Loves the US, so it makes sense that we're a pretty neutral place to host the global language. And seriously, for the love of God, Todd, don't learn Esperanto. You're from New Mexico. You live right next to the Mexican border. You should be learning Uzbek. Now it's time to give Esperanto an official language sense.
On a side note, okay, I made my like 100k subscriber special video where I was like, well, when I get to 100k, okay, yeah, no, I got a big head. I see it happening anyway. I said, you know, I'd let the community choose my next language. That was one of the most commented ones in the comment section. I was like, shit. I think I walked into a meme, guys.
Certified rating on the Simp scale. On a scale of dog water to Giga Chad, I place Esperanto.
Let me guess. He won't place it in dog water because he fears my wrath. But he can't put it in Giga Chad because he fears the wrath of the lesser human beings that exist in America. So it's going to end up somewhere around... It can't be quite a mid because he would lose half his subs over that. So he's going to put it around the beta, I reckon. Definitely won't be an alpha. So he's going to go beta. If he goes dog water, he's over, my man. I will fuck him up.
Rather generously in the alpha tier.
Okay, he has definitely come out of the cupboard. Woohoo! Oh, language simp, you and me tonight, mi volas forgiven profunde. Oh yeah, that's right, boys. Language simp has come to our side. So, vi camir lingua simp.
Despite its many flaws, I firmly believe that Esperanto is the greatest attempt to create a global, I'm just kidding, dog water.
Oh, it's war.
I don't like Esperanto. I have and will continue to learn Romance languages, but a fake one that unlocks 0 real DLC is of no interest to me. And the idea that it would be a good international language is ludicrous. Pushing Eurocentrism on the entire world just feels like an extension of colonial times which were racist and cringe. The language is pretty easy to learn, I guess, since it's so logically designed by my favorite Polish eye doctor, but it still could be simplified a bit more. And it certainly could be made more accessible for, you know, non-European language speakers most of the freaking world. I think where Esperanto shines, however, is in its ability to foster a large community of very passionate language learners from all around the world who...
Okay. We were going good, Mr. Simp. We were going so good. Let me move this into place. Things were looking good. But now, things are not looking so good.